Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smart.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's
out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you. It's Hump Day. It's the 8th day of November 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Our Meijer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at Ryan_L_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are we on this Wednesday? We're midway through the week. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, doing well. Better than yesterday. The elevators are working today.
Oh, the elevators are working.
Yeah, yesterday I had to climb 9 flights of stairs to get up here.
Wait a minute. You're on the 9th floor?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. And you had to go 9 flights of stairs?
Yeah, all 3 elevators were just wide open when I got here yesterday. And luckily somebody else was here, and they were like, yeah, they've been down all night, so I had to take the stairs.
Jeez Louise. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. I too take the stairs into the radio bunker.
Yeah.
I only have to go 1 flight of stairs.
Right.
First thing in the morning, I'm going downhill, which is always it's always easier. You know, that's what you got to do. You got to get the ball and you got to go downhill,
right? As
the coaches like to say, and that's what we do. But man, alive, 9 flights, man. I appreciate you.
Well, normally it's just an elevator ride, so it's not bad. But
when you got to go on foot,
yeah, true.
And you didn't just turn around and say, "The hell with this, I'm going home." That would have been
right.
That would have been really bad. They'd be like, "What happened to Ben?" I'd be like, "I got stuck in the stairwell." What do you mean you got stuck? He looked at 9 flights of stairs and turned around and went the other way and said, "I'm not doing this." Jeez Louise. Man, my goodness. All right, we had a boys. Man, last night, I'm not gonna lie, folks. I'm on cloud 9 right now. I'm on cloud 9 for a couple of reasons. One of which it does kind of feel like Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, our Detroit Lions are healthier than they have been maybe since the beginning of the season. All 53 players at Lions practice yesterday. All 53 of them. I'm happy as a clam because we'll talk to Chris Wormley and John Wagner this morning. I'm happy as a clam because, look, did you understand what I was trying to say about Michigan basketball if you watched that game last night? Did you get what I was trying to get to about that team? Did you see it yesterday? Did you have a chance to take a gander and understand what I was trying to say about this being a very John Beilein feeling looking team? Not a lot of hype around them, a lot longer and more athletic than what you think. Nobody's talking about them, so it's almost kind of a good thing that they're coming in a little bit under the radar, that they're going to shock and surprise some people. And you could give me that's UNC Asheville all you want. UNC Asheville started 3 fifth-year seniors and 2 regular seniors. So 3 super seniors, 2 regular seniors, just won their conference last year, are returning their conference player of the year. And that game after the first 3 minutes was never in doubt. Doug McDaniel, certified bucket getter. That guy is sensational. Ohio State idiot on Twitter. The 0 on the back of the shoe in the tweet about the shoes is for Doug McDaniel. Hopefully, El Chirpo, you were able to watch that Michigan game and see a lot of 0 last night. Ooh, sensational. The Helsinki Hammer. Olivier Quemois. Sensational. I mean, that team punches and bunches, buckets from everywhere, shot the lights out of the ball. To the UNC Asheville fans that were, I mean, look, you can't trash talk a team by saying go beat a team in the Big Ten. Like, you can't say that. You look ridiculous. You sound ridiculous. Like, that's what it is. We all know. We get it. We understand. And you're just dogging your own team. Go beat a Big Ten team, not a mid-major team. Like, we're going to. It's going to happen, I'm telling you. This team is mean. They had a couple lapses where they didn't necessarily get back on defense right away. But outside of that, I mean, they look good. And it was game number 1. And that's what you want to see. We didn't know what to expect. Well, I mean, after the first exhibition game, being able to see them, I kind of had a pretty good feeling. They're a deeper team than last year. They play more team basketball than they did last year. They move the ball better. They talk on defense. They are unselfish. Like, I'm calling it right now. On Wednesday morning at 6:08 on 11/8/23, this Michigan team for the 2023-24 season is better than the 2022-2023 version. There you go. This is a better team than last year's team. I wholeheartedly, through 40 minutes of play plus an exhibition, I wholeheartedly believe that. And you know what? It worked out really well for both sides. Hunter Dickinson can move on and go do his thing. And whatever that thing is, he can go do it. That's what the kids say, do your thing. So go do your thing out there in Kansas and be all you can be, like the Marine. Like the reserves, I should say. Then, Kobe Buffkin, NBA, God bless him. Jed Howard, NBA, cool. See you guys later. This is a better team. It's a better team. And I am convinced of that, especially after the way that they played last night, which was no slouch of a club. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a mid-major, but it's a good mid-major. We didn't roll out, I don't know, who's the worst mid-major team in the country. We didn't bring, like, Howard here. You know how many times I've had to see Howard in the last few years? They're not good at basketball. Like, I'm sorry, they're not. That's not who we brought here. And, wasn't even some of, I don't know, whoever you want to use for comparison's sake. It would have been easy to call a team in Metro Detroit and have them drive over. Like, no, this team is nasty. Wow. Shocking. By the way, I want to remind you that our good friends over at Ice Mountain are partnering up with us for our Michigan-Ohio State tailgate. This tailgate, by the way, is free to the public. So if you want to get in on this action, you could just show up, right? 327 East Hoover on game day, the 25th, starting at 8 a.m. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's a Black Friday free fall every week in November. Each week, nab the best deal around with drawings from 3 to 11 p.m. Every hour, 4 lucky players will win up to $1,000 premium play. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. It's Black Friday free fall. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Got to remind you, Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. But it's not just golf there at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort. They've got the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. Top of the line accommodations. You can stay right there on the grounds. Just visit TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com or call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Welcome back here to X's and Bros. You know, I was really interested, and Ryan knows. And I don't know if Officer Br0's was able to hear the program yesterday. He is a fourth generation Spartan diehard, right? Poor guy. And I have no idea if he listened to the program yesterday or not, but he just texted me. I didn't hear from him at all yesterday. I mean, he has been one of the lead, where is my pitchfork and my torch? We are marching right now. I saw this video on Instagram where somebody had recreated this Celtic horn, which would have been, if you were a Roman soldier, it's what you would have heard on the battlefield, allegedly. This giant, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like an upside down saxophone, but it's 10 feet tall. 10's a little stretch, probably 6 feet tall. And the guy's blowing, that's where Officer Br0 is at, right? He is ready to just scalp Michigan for all they're worth. He's going after him. He wants the charges. He'll drive up there himself and arrest anybody you need. That's how juiced this man is about the Michigan story. And then the Michigan basketball game happens 2 nights ago. And he texted me first thing this morning after the opening, monologue on Michigan, and said, I'm shaking my head. I'm turning this off. And I saw this video where this little kid's soccer game's going on, and this kid takes a shot, and the goalie, it can't be any more than 10 years old. The goalie goes to make his save and runs into the post. And and the ball goes off the post or whatever. And the little kid's a little shook and disoriented. Then the next kid goes to rebound, off the rebound, just rifles one, and it hits the goalie in the head. He ran into the post and took one right off the dome afterwards. And all the parents oh. I said that was Michigan State fans waking up yesterday. And I don't know if he heard any of the show yesterday. I just didn't hear from him. I expected that, we would hear from him. Actually, I didn't expect that. That's a lie. But, I just, to hear from him today, to know where he's at, man, that's pretty funny. Oh, man. I wish there was a way to share it with more people. I don't direct the general public to my Instagram page. But if you wanted to see it, you could find it at Anthony__Bellino, because it is, the video itself is just oh my God. All right, let's get to some good news. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. The Detroit Lions injury update. All 53, including David Montgomery, at practice yesterday. Folks, all 53 present and accounted for, sir. That means everybody who missed the game against the Raiders back on the field, guys like Jonah Jackson, David Montgomery, Frank Ragnow. Jackson's missed the last 3 games with the ankle injury. Montgomery's missed the last 2 with rib cartilage issues. And Ragnow missed last week with a calf injury. That's always terrifying. Anything with a calf is terrifying. But I suffer from sore calves as well. The one thing that I started to use, which I'm sure I would recommend to a professional athlete, but his calves probably hurt a lot worse. One of those massage guns that have the ball attachment. I stuffed that thing in the back of my calf, and I ran that for about 10 minutes. I haven't felt better. My calves are always tight. They always hurt. And, I feel great. So the information at this point, we don't know what their level of participation was in yesterday's practice, but the fact that they're there, the full injury report will drop this afternoon, which would be very, very good. And that said, you had the coach, Dan Campbell, who was, pretty happy and, sounded like pretty optimistic that those three guys, Jackson, Ragnow, Montgomery, that were out last week would be, ready to go against the Chargers. Yeah, I think so. We'll see tomorrow when we pad them up, but they've been trending in the right way for a while, so I'm certainly hopeful. Look, getting an offensive line that's going to be healthy against this Chargers team, if you didn't see what was going on, the Chargers have 31 sacks this season. That's tied for the second most in the NFL. Khalil Mack has a game in which he has 6 sacks all by himself. And Joey Bosa. So, that's it's definitely going to help to have your bookend tackles back in position, ready to roll. Now, I do find it very interesting that the Khalil Mack trade, that was really something. And, you get Joey Bosa, that's really something too. The Chargers are 4-4. They've yet to beat a team that's over 500. Like, they won 2 in a row. I'm not going to take that away from them because it's the NFL. But their 2 wins in a row were the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks in the game. They have Joey Bosa. I just said that. I wanted Bellino's Bolts to be good because I had a fascination with, LaDainian Tomlinson and with the San Diego Superchargers fight song. That's why. They went out and traded for Khalil Mack, and just for, a little pomp and circumstance here. Like, what if we would have traded for a Hall of Fame caliber defensive end? It would have been cool to pair somebody up with Aiden Hutchinson, right? I mean, it's cool that they have Khalil Mack that pairs up with Joey Bosa, right? They're 4-4. Like, there's no guarantee that any sort of move at the deadline was going to, no guarantee whatsoever, that was going to take this team over the top. In theory, you'd think. In theory. If you had a Chase Young or a Montez Sweat or whomever, and maybe you could have done it on the, we'll do it for a season. We'll do the rental. But that Montez Sweat contract is gross. Ugh. We're going to have to pay Aiden Hutchinson, so I'm good on that. I find it very interesting that the Chargers made that trade for Khalil Mack, and nobody ever talks about the fact that I haven't won anything yet. I thought that was a guarantee. Now, the Lions did trade for Donovan Peoples-Jones last week. Campbell said Monday they're going to make sure he's fully ready before putting him into the lineup. I'm excited. I mean, he was at practice, so we're good. We are really good at saying we're going to ease people in. We're going to work them in. We're really good at that. Outside of that, let's get him out there. I am ecstatic to see. And I saw this. I was talking about this with somebody a couple weeks ago, Jameson Williams. And I asked the question about why not get him started in the return game. And then I literally just heard, was it Uncle Herman? Did he say that last week? The punt returns, kick returns, just get the ball in his hands. He's fast. Give it a shot. Get him an opportunity where, look, he's he's incredibly quick. So get him the ball in his hands. He did it at Alabama. We'll go from there. That's a really good opportunity just for him to build some confidence. Just get some confidence going. And then I think I heard Herman Moore say it last week, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I might have been onto something. Get him started in the return game. I'd probably be a little more comfortable with kick returns versus punt returns just because of the some of the ball security issues that we have seen. The last thing you want is on the punt return someone to hang one up there, and then for you to be focused on that, not call for the fair catch, or you can't afford to have a drop there, especially if you touch it. Not in the punt game. You got to be real sure-handed. But in kickoff, it kicks right around the goal line, comes up a little bit short, hit the turbo thrusters. Let's go. Start running. All right, we're going to step aside when we return. Chris Wormley will join us. We'll talk about Michigan. We'll talk about Michigan on the field. So I'm still concerned about the offensive line questions. Maybe Chris will ease my mind there. Plus, what do we see for the future of Michigan and potentially even the NCAA? We'll get into that next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Bean Garter, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles. either at Bean Garter here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Dorn Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Bean Garter. Easiest way, you can call Bean Garter, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Earn bonus points with M-Perks at Meijer for just one more way to save this holiday season. Shop groceries, apparel, gifts, and more, and earn points on it all. And right now, earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend on select Meijer brand food. Earn points every time you shop and redeem them anytime you want. Make Meijer your one-stop shop for everything you need this holiday season. And with M-Perks, you'll save even more. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now, as he does on Wednesday mornings, the Michigan alum himself, current Carolina Panther, our good friend Chris Wormley. Find him on Twitter at Chris_Wormley43. Big Worm, what's going on, man? How are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Everything's good. I think this is the week that all Michigan fans have been waiting for. Some real competition, some ranked opponent, and we get a real test pretty late in the season with the Nittany Lions, but it should be a good one.
You know, looking back at Saturday night's game under the lights, I mean, J.J. McCarthy was 24 of 37 for 335. Didn't have a touchdown because one went right through the hands of Cornelius Johnson. But I go back to the run game, Chris, and look, it's 41-13, and it should have been, 41-6 as a final score. But, Purdue goes for it on 4th and 3. They get a touchdown with 16 seconds left. One of the all-time great garbage time touchdowns. Those points meant a whole lot more to some than they did to others, in the words of the great Brent Musburger. However, the run game is still ultra concerning for me. It has been all year long. I can't stop thinking about it. 34 carries, 110 yards, and one of them was Samaj Morgan, that fabulous freshman. He has been dynamite. He gets a reverse. He goes 1 carry for 44 yards and a touchdown. Outside of that, Michigan doesn't gain 100 yards on the ground. I get that maybe they're moving to more of a pass-first offense because of the caliber of quarterback that they have in J.J. McCarthy, but I am worried that Blake Corum is having to do like 15 carries for 44 yards. That's less than 3 yards a touch. That's concerning to me, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely concerning. I think, like you had said, if J.J. McCarthy's not throwing 300 yards a game, it's definitely a lot more concerning. But it's a good thing that we do have J.J. It's a good thing that we have been able to spread the ball out through the air this season, make the plays like that we needed to. But I think down the stretch, it's gonna come into be a lot more important for Blake and definitely Donovan to pick it up a little bit. I know that falls a lot on the offensive line as well, as being able to move people and create those lanes and those holes for the running backs to run through. But I'm not as concerned as I would be if we had Iowa's offense and passing abilities. So not too concerned, but I definitely think as the weeks go on, it's going to get harder and harder to throw the ball. So we got to tighten up a little bit and be able to run the ball efficiently.
Chris, we've been doing this for weeks, and we've been waiting for a long time for this portion of the schedule. Penn State on the road, Maryland on the road, Ohio State at home, 12 noon kickoff, big noon Fox. Everybody loves it. Oh, it's going to be electric. In Happy Valley, I think that the noon kickoff favors the Wolverines.
I think so, too. Even if they were coming off of a night game last week, I think the noon game, you wake up at 8, you get to the stadium by 9:30, 10. Maryland's are undefeated this year, but they've played really, really well at those noon time slots. They get started faster, they get going faster, and they hold and sustain a lot faster. So I think this bodes well for the Wolverines.
Now, Penn State's kind of an interesting team here when we look at the 11th ranked Nittany Lions, according to the Associated Press poll here. The ESPN matchup predictor actually favors Penn State in this game, which I find is very interesting because Penn State, I mean, they lost against Ohio State. Their wins have been Illinois, Iowa, West Virginia, Delaware, like for as much flack as Michigan has taken on the schedule. And I get it, right? I fully understand. We all do. We've talked about it. UMass, Delaware, and West Virginia isn't necessarily anything to write home about. And I think when people start to bark at the schedule, it's like, hey, folks, a lot of you people are the schedule. Like, what are you yelling about? Get your team better.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, I think Michigan matches up pretty favorably over the Nittany Lions. I know Penn State has a good defense. I know Penn State has a pretty good offensive line. But I think obviously our quarterback is better. I think our defense is better. I think Michigan's defense is ranked number 1 overall, at least in points per game. So when you kind of put all that together, it's hard to say why Penn State's favored. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But I think with the lack of points that Penn State's able to score the last couple of weeks as far as, I guess, being as we thought they were. I think Michigan is going to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be as close as people think. Even though it is in a hostile environment, playing at Happy Valley is always fun. You can come out with a win, but I think Michigan takes this win and then keeps rolling.
You know, Chris, as you look at this season for Michigan and everything surrounding them with the sign stealing scandal, does it take any wind out of your sails when you start to think or talk about like Michigan football? And a lot of people have. Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN talking about they shouldn't be eligible for the college football playoff until there is a ruling. Pat McAfee went on his show and talked about how it's BS if Michigan is cheating and they take a spot from a team that's deserving of one of the 4 bids to the college football playoff. Now we're talking about something that we got to figure some things out on the field first. But does that concern you at all from a fan perspective?
I think Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith are quite frankly wrong. I mean, when you look, especially with the news that's come out over the last couple of days with people coming forward saying that, hey, I was in charge of going to scout Michigan. I was in charge of, from a Big Ten school to go find, to do the exact same thing that Michigan was allegedly doing. I think everyone kind of knows now that all schools do it as far as sign stealing, whatever you want to say, scouting, however you want to put it. I think when it comes down to it, Michigan's still a top 4 team, whether they know that it's going to be a run or they know it's going to be a pass. So I think those guys are wrong when it comes to that. I think also that that rule, whenever it was established before, a lot of social media, a lot of cameras are out. There was just a TikTok or a Twitter video I saw of, I think it was Rutgers, and they had 4 different people, and they were all given signs, and it was out there in the open. And you can go and see that right plain as day without having to record on in the stadium. So I think Michigan deserves to be in that top 4 conversation moving forward, and especially if they continue to win. I don't see any reason why they should be left out of that top 4 conversation.
I'm a little surprised. I guess I didn't know that many people hated Michigan. I think that's what I've really come to the conclusion that there are some people that are really bothered by the University of Michigan. And I'm glad you brought up the social media aspect of it, because in today's world, like, everybody wants to hop on the bandwagon immediately. They just want to join the mob and have something to be angry and something to yell about. And Ohio State fans want a way to rationalize what took place the last 2 years. Michigan State fans are just looking for anything at this point to say, hey, look, we're not just the bad ones. You guys got problems too. And then we have this angry mob, and then we also have the information that, like, yeah, everybody is doing it at some level. It's part of the game. Why many of us, and in fact, I'd be willing to say 99% of fans didn't even know it was a rule until this whole thing came out.
Yeah, what's the saying? Like, the pot calling the kettle black. Look, like, everyone, I feel like everyone does it. Everyone does it to some extent. And when it's this high of athletics and this high of stakes, like, you're looking to find that winning edge. But I always thought Michigan, especially these last couple of years, with Harbaugh and them winning back-to-back Big Ten championships, and Harbaugh kind of, pushing and pressing the status quo when it comes to college athletics, and NILs kind of get thrown in there, and his kind of views on that. I think people are looking to take him down, and they're going to use anything. And you give them an inch with some type of sign stealing scandal, and they're gonna take it for a mile and see what they can get out of it. But as we saw, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, the NCAA kind of shut that down as far as what they were going to do with it for the time being. And I think that kind of just proves that there was a whole lot of nothing going on, especially in the NCAA's mind, who I think also might have a little bit out, a little bit of a, not vendetta, but they're also keeping their eyes closely on Michigan over the last couple of years as far as what's been going on. So if they have found nothing, or aren't going to press any type of suspensions on the university or the football program, I think that kind of says it all.
And then there is the talk about the Big Ten. Well, maybe they would look to the sportsmanship policy, and if Michigan violated that, maybe they would try to suspend Coach Harbaugh. And then people are talking about, well, if you make him ineligible for the playoff. I guess my next question would be, you're a guy that played. Can you imagine being in these players' position and people now all of a sudden talking about, hey, by the way, we don't want you guys to even be eligible to play for a Big Ten Conference Championship. We don't even want you to be eligible to play for the college football playoff. From the player's perspective, you can't do anything but focus on just winning the next game. But if they did something like that, I mean, talk about taking it out on the young men that had put all the work in. Like, I'd be pretty salty.
Yeah, I'd be pretty mad. I'd be angry. I'd be hurt. You know, you put in, especially if you're a senior, 4 or 5 years of your life into something to accomplish something with your team, and it gets taken away because people are angry or people think that what you're doing is wrong. I would be pretty mad. And I know that those guys can't control, you know, what goes on within the coaching staff or who gets, you know, what responsibilities are put on who, and that goes for every college team. I feel bad for any college player that gets punished for the wrongdoing of other people. And at the end of the day, if I knew that we were going to get suspended over something as small as like what they're being alleged to, you know, not being able to play in the Big Ten championship or the playoffs, I'd be pretty mad.
Yeah, and that's a nice way to put it, too. I mean, I thought we did a really good job of describing how the anger without having to violate the FCC's rules and regulations, because they can actually levy real fines, unlike the NCAA and whatever the hell they're up to. They have a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit on their desk right now that they're facing as well. And it's kind of like, well, you know, maybe the Harbaugh news is good because it takes a little bit of heat off of that. But they are in hot water as well. Now, I have to ask you about NIL because you mentioned it, and I want to hear about it from your perspective as someone who was gone right before this, basically right before this whole NIL and transfer portal window kind of became the Wild West. My idea is pretty simple. Look at the NFL, unionize the players, divide the revenue up between the football programs that are producing the revenue. They're generating it all. Like we don't have to, you know, put the gloves on and play powder puff or anything like that. Like, no, football is the revenue generator, followed by men's basketball. That's what's earning the dollars. Those players unionize. They split up the revenue in a collectively bargained agreement, just like the NFL does. Why don't we just do that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's easier said than done. I know I'm an NFLPA rep for what I was last year with the Steelers, and there's so much that goes into just getting decisions made and trying to do what's best for every player, not just, you know, the top guys in the NCAA or the top guys in the NFL or the bottom guys. We're trying to collectively bargain to have a better situation, not for just this right now moment, but for 10, 20 years down the road. And lawyers get involved, and we have an executive director that, you know, we can hire to have our best, you know, to have our best interests in mind when it comes to that. So I think it's a great idea and I definitely think players should be able to revenue share in some way when it comes to, you know, this NIL. They're not just doing it off of marketing deals, like they're actually getting a cut of TV bills and jersey sales and ticket sales, and concession goes into the revenue that generates revenue for, you know, this game on Saturday is going to be huge. There's going to be 110 plus 5,000 people at Happy Valley and at Br0's Stadium, and that's a lot of money that's being generated, and those players aren't going to see any of it. I mean, they might, you know, if someone, you know, the quarterback scores the game-winning drive, he might get an NIL deal, but to be honest, that's probably pennies compared to what they could be getting when it comes to, you know, the revenue of these massive TV deals that are only going to increase over 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And I think there has to be some type of representation if we're going to move to that revenue sharing. I think it's just going to be a little trickier and a little slower process than people might realize.
Oh, no. Slow in the NCAA. Those two things go together like peanut butter and jelly. I got sent an article last week that Michigan has now ruled in favor of high school athletes being able to receive NIL. Now, I'm more of a traditionalist of, hey, look, I'm all for the amateur athletics. If you make it to the pros, you got there, you got paid to do it. I did a lot of unpaid internships as a kid in college, right? So I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. If the NIL, if this ruling, and it passed now, where high school athletes would be able to make money on a name, image, and likeness deal, and whatever that means, I guess, where does it stop?
That's actually a great question, because if you for us, I try and think of it as like another player and kind of where it stops for us. Like we collectively bargain, we vote on, and we come to an agreement every 10 years to agree on that. And if that's what it's going to take for, honestly, maybe the NCAA is dissolved when it comes to, definitely football, maybe even some basketball schools or basketball teams and universities. Like, I think the NCAA is good for, the schools and the sports that don't produce and the type of revenue that Michigans and the Alabamas and Ohio States and Texases and USC's and the list goes on for those, those top Power 5 schools. But maybe the NCAA is no longer a thing, or is no longer the governing body for those top, 40 to 50 schools when it comes to their football programs. I think that might be that's going to be a conversation over the next 5 to 10 years, or what do we do with the NCAA? But as far as where does it stop, I haven't thought too much about that. I know that these players work their butts off. I know it takes a lot to get to where they're at, and I would like for them to see just a little slice of it.
Just a little slice, maybe like a 50-50 split. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
We don't even have 50-50 split in the NFL, so we're still working towards that, and hopefully the next couple CBAs, which is 2 decades, but we'll get closer to the 50%. But even if there's a lot of expenses and things like that go into the day-to-day jobs of people that help the university and the athletic department. So I think a good start is kind of see what you can get. But I think we're still a few years out from that, just to be able to get a union together and get the right people in place that have the best interest for these kids.
He is Chris Wormley. Find him on Twitter at Chris_Wormley43. You can see now why he was on the board for player representation there with the Players Association. Just a well-educated man, well thought out. That was good, Chris, man. I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much. Enjoy Michigan and Penn State on Fox's Big Noon Kickoff Saturday afternoon.
Can't wait. Let's do it. Go Blue.
NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, celebrating with unbeatable offers. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down just $5 on the association. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You start the season with an instant dub. And if you've been watching the Detroit Pistons by chance, you'll know this club is back in action this evening. And, you might want to look at fading them. Just being honest. They're on the road to Milwaukee. You just take the Bucks, right? Literally take the Bucks. Basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll get your headlines. We'll dive into the Red Wings last night. They got waxed. John Wagner will join us on the weekend that was in college football. Lots to get to. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2, X's and Bros coming at you next here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Save on Thanksgiving with one stop at Meijer.
I see freshness.
Get a Meijer Grade A frozen turkey, 59 cents per pound, limit 1, and stuffing, green beans, and tasty pies.
I smell savings.
Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Printed at checkout, redeemed through November 18th.
It gives me great joy.
Deals so good, you gotta celebrate. Get Thanksgiving in one stop and start holiday shopping at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the Blaze Through Fall Jeep Giveaway every Saturday in November. 2 hourly winners, 5 to 10 p.m., take home a cool $500 cash. At 11 p.m. each night, one lucky guest wins a hot new Jeep Renegade or $15,000. The Blaze Through Fall Jeep Giveaway, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra. The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
What are you looking for in a career? What are you looking for in your pursuit of happiness and satisfaction? Let's answer those questions by answering this one. What are you? If you're selfless, courageous, dedicated, disciplined, and humble, your happiness and satisfaction may be in a new career in law enforcement. Visit MichiganPoliceChiefs.org today or simply walk into your local police department and start the conversation. You may find the answer to all of your questions.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
sports talk morning show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 2 on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day. It's the 8th day of November, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino. So grateful to be joining you on this beautiful Wednesday. What a time to be alive, folks. Hopefully you're enjoying the program and enjoying your Wednesday, your start to the day, no matter what point of the day your routine is in. I actually like falling back a little bit. Now let's just keep the clock where it's at. I mean, yesterday I saw something that said, man, it feels like it's 14 p.m. right now. That's kind of how I felt. But you know what? We're getting after it. We're staying, we got a big day today, grocery truck day on a Wednesday. So it's going to be all hands on deck. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're just gonna continue to attack the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network at .com to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. Ben Glaze is at TheBenGlaze. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. A reminder, folks, when I want to stay hydrated, you know what I drink? I drink this right here, Ice Mountain. I'm a loyalist to Ice Mountain. It's true. It's true. On my usual routine to get to whatever game, I stop at the gas station, fuel up, whether I'm hitting the road, going to the Motor City for Lions football or headed to Ann Arbor for Michigan football or Michigan hoops. You got to hydrate. You stay hydrated with Ice Mountain, the purest water this side of the Mississippi. And our friends at Ice Mountain are helping us out with our Michigan Ohio State tailgate. I was so excited about the Michigan State one last year. I just called Ohio State Michigan State. Sorry about that, Buckeye fans. But this is a free event, open to the public. Come on by. Food and beverage will be available for purchase, but no ticket or anything like that necessary to get in. It's all taking place at 327 East Hoover. That is the same location that we had our Michigan MSU tailgate at last year. It was electric. Stadium Club 327 is the name of the venue. It's a block away from the Big House, whether you have a ticket to the game or not. You want to come on out, hang out, hit the tailgates for Michigan versus Ohio State. What a great time to be around Ann Arbor and just enjoy the sights and sounds of what that is like. Come on by to our tailgate, and our friends at Ice Mountain are going to make sure that you stay hydrated, right? Because you can't just be out there drinking booze. You got to have some crisp, clean water as well. Ice Mountain stays in my fridge. Ice Mountain should be in your fridge, too. What's going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
And you know, wait a minute. Get Coach Campbell back up there. What's Dan Campbell doing back there with my Ice Mountain? He's trying to get my water. And you know, I don't say anything about a brand unless I actually stand behind it. All right? I don't have a promo code yet with Ice Mountain, but when I do, you're going to hear about it. I'll tell you that much right now. All right, we had 3 games in the Mid-American Conference last night. Get some MACtion. Ball State beating Northern Illinois 20-17. Central and Western head-to-head 38-28. Already some calls for Jim McElwain to be let go at the end of this season. I just don't know what I don't know what you do in Mount Pleasant. I really don't. The fact that Central Western was on a Tuesday, you know how I feel about that. If you listen to the show, or you know what, maybe you don't know and you're new here, there's like 2 rivalry games in the MAC that are worth a damn. Central Western, BG Toledo. And why those games aren't reserved for Saturdays for their communities, I have no idea. If you've been to Central or been to Western on that game day, on that week, I mean, that's like a high school reunion on steroids, right? And that should always be on a Saturday. So you give the kids that go to Central, you give the kids that go to Western an opportunity to get to the other school Friday after class, hang out with their old classmates, stay the night there on somebody's floor, somebody's couch that looked like they just picked it up off of a corner somewhere. I mean, the conditions sometimes are less to be desired. But regardless, that should be on a weekend. Toledo versus Bowling Green needs to be on a weekend. Like, fix it. Fix it. And Ohio beats Buffalo last night, 20-10. Now tonight, Toledo can clinch the West with a victory over the Eastern Michigan Eagles, the 8-1 Rockets, and the 4-5 EMU Eagles. 7:30 tonight, ESPN2. Over on ESPNU at 7 o'clock, you'll get Akron versus Miami. The Red Hawks 7-2 on the year at Yager Stadium in Oxford. That should be a cakewalk for them. And then over on the CBS Sports Network, Bowling Green should improve to 6-4 as they play a 1-8 Kent State game. Can Bowling Green, by the way, 9.5-point favorite. Miami 17.5-point favorite. Toledo 18.5-point favorite. So MACtion tonight's got some pretty hefty spreads, if that would be of interest to you. Last night in college hoops, UNC Asheville traveled to Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines. What a showcase it was for the Maize and Blue. I'm trying to tell you people, you got to listen to me, folks. I don't just say things and throw stuff at the wall. I make sure that the opinion is somewhat intelligent, formulated based on facts, plus the eyeball test. And the eyeball test said this right here. As I said yesterday, it's a very John Beilein-esque team. Very John Beilein-esque. They got this right here with three graduate transfers. Trey Jackson, Olivier Kemwa, and Namari Burnett. And these three guys come in with my boy Dougie McBuckets. Doug McDaniel was simply unconscious last night. 9 of 15 from the floor. 22 points, 8 assists, a steal. Did all that while playing 31 minutes. Olivier Kemwa, welcome to the club. 25-7 for him. Terrace Reed Jr., only 20 minutes of play. Had a couple fouls early in the game. That changed some things. He had 9 and 7 on a perfect 4-4 from the field. How about Terrence Williams II? 15, 6 and 1. He was dynamite. Namari Burnett had 13, 5 and 2. I mean, my goodness. It's all right there. Terrace Reed would have been in double figures. All five guys in double figures plus 2 20-point scores. I'll take that all day, every day. I tried to tell you. You just got to listen to me. You got to hear me. Detroit Red Wings were on the road last night in the Garden, taking on the New York Rangers. That didn't go very well. They lose 5-3. Andrew Kopp, Klim Kostin, Michael Rasmussen were your goal scorers. Just not great. Not overall great. I mean, they were down 5-0 after 2. I'm glad they showed a little bit of fight there in the third period. That's a good sign. They didn't just fold their tents. They went out there and at least competed and got all their damage done there in the third period, but just not good enough. The LA Rams are signing quarterback Carson Wentz. Ew. Things didn't go well for Rippon. Mike Vrabel names Will Levis the Titans starting quarterback going forward. They are going to move forward, transition now away from Ryan Tannehill's to Will Levis. The Cowboys are signing wide receiver Martavis Bryant to their practice squad. Speaking of practice squads, I love what Antonio Pierce did with the Las Vegas Raiders this past week. He had all the practice squad guys on the sideline. And you know what? I'm going to look up the audio and play it for you because hearing his explanation of why he did that, because that's not normal, I loved every second of it. You talk about galvanizing. There's a reason that locker room had the music going and the cigars going. They had to get rid of McDaniels. That guy's a fraud. They needed to change some things up. They did. They got the victory. Happy for the Raiders at this point moving forward. Go ahead and wreck the rest of the AFC West. We're rooting for you, pal. Good luck out there, Raiders. Go get them, champ. The Heat have named Udonis Haslem as their new vice president of basketball development. Boy, UD's been collecting a paycheck now from the Miami Heat for longer than most of us have even been alive. That's incredible. Michigan says that Rutgers, Ohio State, and Purdue all shared signs together and all collectively got beat. That would be an F on a group project. Michigan's Blake Corum said he has no business relationship with Connor Stallions. I'm still looking into this. I saw this story come out. There's a limited liability corporation in Wyoming listed both Blake Corum and Connor Stallions as co-owners. It surfaced on Tuesday at social media. What's the difference if they own a business together? Guy's getting into business. He's still in college. Brilliant for him. And Dartmouth is starting the season while still pushing for a union. So good for Dartmouth. I'm telling you, unionize kids. We'll be back. More X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Bean Garter, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Bean Garter here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Bean Garter. Easiest way, you can call Bean Garter, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Bean Garter, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Friday, December 1st at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Single record of the year is Better Man.
The album of the year, Killin' Time.
Come on up again, Clint Black.
This Killin' Time.
Clint Black with special guest Josh Grayson. Tickets start at $40. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Clint Black and Josh Grayson. Friday, December 1st at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTab at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Folks, Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes is one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. We got pretty good weather all week long, too, but it's not just golf there at Tullymore Golf Resort. They've actually got the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. So what you need to do is visit tullymoregolf.com, tullymoregolf.com. You can stay right there on the grounds. Maybe it's a little office gathering, a little work retreat. Beautiful clubhouse. Sensational accommodations at Tullymore. Call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. No, never, not even a word. It's not too early to even start thinking about 2024 as well. If you and your playing partners are looking for a golf trip, but you know what, got to keep it somewhat local, Tullymore is the perfect spot for you. Smack dab in the middle of the state, easy to get to no matter what direction you're coming from. Visit tullymoregolf.com. And they've got the best carts in the country. So you have that to look forward to as well. Trust me, I've been there. I love that place. It's awesome. Also want to remind you, this is pretty cool as well. We're having a tailgate coming up for the Michigan-Ohio State game. I got details for that after we get to a couple of these text messages as well. People don't like the fans, not the university. Everybody is doing it, but you did it, so that's okay. That person just pulled up and pumped gas and ran off, so tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing and tell the judge everyone does it. That's one way to look at it. If you think it's committing a crime, because that's what you're suggesting here, you are suggesting larceny. You're suggesting theft. So if you want to go out and be a criminal in your day-to-day life, then go right ahead. And you can tell the judge whatever you want, but you stole X amount of dollars worth of gas, and you got caught. So anybody who compares the Michigan sign-stealing shenanigans by Connor Stallions, the fact that this man is being slandered on the internet, Captain Connor Stallions, that is, from the United States Naval Academy, former United States Marine, I don't like that at all. You can think whatever you want about Michigan, but don't go after somebody who gave up years of his life to join the United States military and think that I'm going to let that slide, especially when you're a captain in the United States Marine Corps. Don't be mad, because this man went to school literally to figure out coding and decoding and code breaking. Like that's what he does. That's what he does. And you don't mind. You don't care if he did it against the Russians. You'd be fine with that, right? You'd be fine with that. Well, how would you compare that to football? Well, how would you compare sign stealing to larceny? That's the point. Come on here and slander Connor Stallions. I'd hire Connor Stallions right now. You talk about a guy with some drive? You talk about a guy that's willing to go the extra mile? How many people in today's ball game just want to show up and get paid, not do anything? They just don't want to do anything. It's like you have to pay them to be there, and they're just going to give the bare minimum effort all the time. They got a whole generation of people just wanting to work less and get paid more. They got no semblance of hard work. They got a work ethic. They're not getting up early and staying up late. They're not digging deep. They just show up. I get paid hourly. Okay. That's why salespeople make a ton of money. Because salespeople are driven off of commission. And if you could sell, you can do anything in life. Plain and simple. So I'm not going to, don't come after Connor Stallions because he's one of the few and one of the proud because the guy put in the extra effort. Like, no, I'm not going to stand for that. You can think whatever you want, but it's not going to fly on this program. You could take that somewhere else where you could find, people that just want to sit on their rear ends all day. If this guy's spending his own money and had to open up a vacuum cleaning service on the side to help fund his escapade, and by all means, go the extra mile. Do whatever is necessary to win. And just make sure in your business, you guys are 100% clean and ethical in everything you do. Everything you do. I'm talking about simple as recycling. Make sure you guys are ethical. Every little bit. Go the extra mile. Go the extra mile. In fact, if you had a kid that worked like Connor Stallions, you'd probably be pretty proud. I know I would be. So Semper Fi. Captain Stallions. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But you need people like that. You need people like that, people that are willing to do that, people that are willing to sacrifice years of their life and potentially even sacrifice their life, depending on where they get deployed to. You need people like that. Some people are morally opposed to violence. Those are usually protected by people who aren't. I'm only asking, here's another text, I'm only asking, is Kevin O'Connell a better head coach than Dan Campbell? He did get them to the playoffs faster and won a division basically as a first-time head coach. Do I think Kevin O'Connell is a better head coach than Dan Campbell? No. They won 11 one-possession games last year. He's a luckier head coach. He's definitely luckier. Definitely luckier. Because if the Lions would have had that luck, then this isn't even a question. By the way, I'm not into comparing, coaches per se. I mean, I don't understand why that's even a thought here. Doesn't, even if he was, what does it matter? He doesn't. Let's say O'Connell is Boy Genius 2.5, right? He's Sean McVay Jr. What does it matter? Good for them, I guess. Sweet. It doesn't help us. What really helps us having all 53 guys at practice yesterday. Now, I had this saved for this segment saved for the Red Wings. The Wings were a disaster last night, for lack of a better way to put it. They went down 5-0, 5-0 after the first two periods of play. Luckily, they were able to get back into the action a little bit in the third period. I'm glad they didn't give up. Rasmussen got his second from Sherratt and Petrie. It's Petrie's fourth assist by the way. Klim Kostin got his first goal of the season. Sherratt got in on that one for his third assist, and Christian Fischer got his second. And then Andrew Kopp from JT Compher and Ville Husso actually got credited for an assist in that game. That's a bad loss there. They got outshot 32-28. They got out hit 21-9. They did better as far as not taking the penalties. They had a 2-1 advantage on the power play, just could not capitalize. And the faceoff, you got to win the faceoff dot. It's always good to win possession. It was about 60-40 split in favor of the New York Rangers. Just not a great game at all for the Detroit Red Wings. This is one that I think you just kind of burn the tape. They came out, the Rangers did. They're off to a hot start, and just kind of, it's cool for Andrew Kopp because he formerly played for them, so that's kind of cool. You trim it to 5-3. That's all fine and dandy. And you're glad you didn't see any quit in your guys. But the Red Wings just, it's 7-5-1 now, 3-3 on the road. Not exactly a great game. They fall a point behind Tampa Bay Lightning for second place. Tampa Bay, by the way, has 4 overtime losses right now. They are 6-3-4. So, they're basically 6-7, where the Red Wings are 7-5-1, so 7-6. Everybody trailing Boston, looking up at them with 21 points. And then it goes Tampa Bay with 16, Detroit with 15. Detroit's 2-2 over their last 4, coming off that great win against the Boston Bruins. They will get the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow. Montreal comes to town. They are 5-5-2 on the season, bringing a 4-game losing streak into this matchup against the Wings. So that's good. And it should favor Detroit a little bit here. We'll see. Hopefully, this is a good game. Okay, you take that loss, not a great one. These two will meet for the first time this season, the first of 4 matchups between these two. They get a game, obviously, tomorrow. They'll play December 2nd, and then they'll play twice in April on a back-to-back, one in Detroit, and then they'll travel to Montreal for the very next night. I don't know why the NHL continues to do that, but whatever. Just kind of, just what they do. It's a Alex DeBrincat a little quiet, but 6 goals and 3 assists over the last 10 games. We'll see if he can get back in the scoring column tomorrow night as well. But just a tough game for the Wingdings overall. We're going to step aside when we return. We're going to talk the weekend that was in college football with John Wagner. We had a lot of highly ranked teams have some pretty close calls, including the Notre Dame Fighting Irish that actually lost on the road at Clemson. We'll get into all those games next here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com. at MHSAA on Twitter and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Earn bonus points with M-Perks at Meijer for just one more way to save this holiday season. Shop groceries, apparel, gifts, and more, and earn points on it all. And right now, earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend on select Meijer brand food. Earn points every time you shop and redeem them anytime you want. Make Meijer your one-stop shop for everything you need this holiday season. And with M-Perks, you'll save even more. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now covering the world of college football for the National Football Foundation and Football Writers Association of America. Also spent a couple of decades covering the Detroit Tigers minor league system as well. Our good buddy, John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my man, how are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Anthony, in beautiful Minnesota, it might actually get up to 50 degrees this weekend. So I am a little slice of heaven. How are you doing this morning?
I am fantastic. What a riveting week of college football. Despite what the internet may tell you, there were games played on field that had final scores that we can talk about and not stuff off the field that, quite frankly, we don't need to talk about, which is great because everybody else is doing it. So.
We could talk about stuff off the field, but yeah, let's focus on field.
I like that.
What do you got?
I like
what
that.
do you got?
Well, first off, I want to start with some of the higher ranked teams that had some struggles this past weekend, and I want to start with first. Georgia had a big third quarter in their home game against Missouri to escape 30-21. We had the Oklahoma State Oklahoma rivalry with the Cowboys winning by 3, handing Oklahoma their second loss of the season. We had Texas needing overtime against Kansas State to survive by 3 points at Texas Memorial Stadium. Like this, Ohio State was given a little bit of a run there from Rutgers. If they wouldn't have scored 28 points in the second half, Rutgers might have had a shot there. I mean, my goodness, a little pick six action always helps. Were you surprised that some of the higher ranked teams had some struggles? I mean, Notre Dame lost an even 4-4 500 club in Clemson on the road, getting beat by 8 points there.
All right, well, let me go back because you just named a bunch of games. The first few that you named, though, were games that had multiple ranked teams in them. Let me just kind of run through the list as I remember you presenting it. Georgia, yeah, they struggled with Missouri, which came into the game ranked 12th in the country and is a good team. They're very good. Mizzou is really a good team. That was actually a nice challenge for Georgia without their star player, and they responded to the challenge and won. I thought that was a nice win for Florida. Or for Georgia rather. You mentioned Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Bedlam. Last edition of Bedlam was all that and more. Oklahoma State scores 10 in the fourth quarter to win by 3, but those are 2 more ranked teams. And yes, I totally get that early in the season, Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama. Totally get it. And South Alabama's not good. But Oklahoma was not good at that time, and they've gotten significantly better. Oklahoma State right now is a pretty good team. You mentioned Texas and K-State. Texas, by all rights, should have at least been forced to go to a second overtime, if not lost outright to K-State. K-State had them on the ropes, but was not able to deliver that knockout punch. But K-State is ranked as well. That's a really good team. Those are teams struggling against good competition. I'll even give Ohio State a bit of a bye. I think Rutgers is a good team. Not a great team, not worthy of being ranked nationally, but they're a good team. And it took a while for Ohio State to kind of, I don't know whether it was knocking cobwebs off or wake up or whatever, but it took them a while to get going. But they did win by almost 20. I think they 35-16, does that sound right? Something like that. It took them a while, but they did eventually pull away. We saw a lot of that this weekend. I mean, Florida State is at Pitt, and Pitt comes into that game 2-6, and that's a 10-7 Florida State lead at halftime. Now, Florida State pulled away in the second half. Kudos to them. So they, but that was a close game. I mean, heck, Washington, ranked 5th in the country, had all they could do to beat the USC team that everybody seems to think is a winless property and they're overrated no matter where they are. USC's a good team. Now, obviously not a great team and certainly not a great defense, but it took a while for Washington to get rolling. I mean, I think I hit the big games that you mentioned. Oh, one other, Alabama and LSU. That was a very interesting game. It was not a blowout that you might think a 42-28 game would be. Alabama scored the last score, kind of held LSU in the check in the second half, but it was 21-21 at half. But I think in every instance, except Rutgers, I named not one. Oh no, Pitt was the other. Where those are the only two games where I named only one ranked team. Every other game had two ranked teams in it. And I get that some people are going to say, well, I don't know. Well, no, I do know. USC. USC doesn't deserve to be ranked. They're still good. That's a talented team. I mean, that is the defending Heisman Trophy winner leading that offense. That's a good team. You can argue all you want. They're not top 25. I won't stop you. I won't fight it. It's still a good team. Don't get it wrong. Don't tell me they're terrible. Long story, which I'm done telling now, made as short as I can make it. These are good teams, great teams actually, beating really good teams.
It is very interesting. The USC Washington game. Nobody in the Pac-12 can defend anybody. Like they just if Caleb Williams could go.
Careful now.
Yeah,
careful now.
Can't defend.
Utah's really good defensively.
Oh,
Utah's really good.
You know, people are
Remember, Utah. Hey, I'll do. You know, I'm a big fan of.
I know
the Utes.
I know you love. I mean, I'm surprised that Utah hasn't put you on their payroll yet. I mean, if there's anybody to the east of that damn state like that is promoting their product, I mean, hello Utah. Call this man. Pay this man his monies.
Hey, Utah is a very good defensive team. Their issue is that their quarterback, who is very, very talented, he has been hurt and out for the year. So they've kind of had to make do at quarterback. And their defense is terrific. Their special teams are always great. Kyle Whittingham is a really, really good coach. Really good coach. They do play defense. I mean, the rest of the league, you want to argue they don't? Knock yourself out. Utah plays really good D.
Unless they have to play Oregon, and then the D just kind of like, it's subject to change. You're going to have days like that. You're going to have days like that. Oregon,
and don't misunderstand me. You're going to think I'm making this up or trying to pull your chain. Oregon might be the best team in the country.
Oh, my chain has been pulled.
Hurt my feelings.
My chain has been pulled.
That's a really good team. Remember, their one loss is by 3 points to Washington at Husky Stadium, which is a hard, hard place to play. And they are the team that's not struggling before they put teams away. They've been crushing teams. They crushed Cal. They crushed Colorado. The teams that they should beat, they beat them bad. I mean, and they scored 35 on Utah, okay? They have one loss on their calendar, and it's that's Washington's a good team with a great offense. 3 points at their place. If they play in the Pac-12 championship game on a neutral site in Las Vegas, first of all, that's going to be a great, great game. That might be the best league championship game in football, college football this year. The SEC is going to be probably pretty good.
Oh, that Pac-12 game will be exciting. That'll look like a tennis match.
That'd be great. That should be a great game. And you know what? If you say, hey, you got the underdog Ducks, I'm like, bring it. Strongly in favor.
Have a question here, John, about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I know that Freddie is listening right now. He's a big Notre Dame guy. You know, Lou Holtz, Rudy, all that good stuff. What?
And nobody's perfect, Anthony. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering what happened there. You know, I don't, you know, nobody's perfect except for, well, Ohio State's perfect right now, and Michigan's perfect right now, and Georgia's perfect right now, and Florida State is perfect right now, and Washington's perfect right now. And I mean, I could go on, but I'll stop right there because I think I might have actually ran out of teams.
Oh, could you go on? Really? Who else besides those is perfect?
James Madison. They're perfect.
You're right. Anyone else?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I wasn't prepared to talk about
I was going to say
teams.
I think you've reached your limit right there. I believe that's it.
I think I maxed out. But what happened? What happened with Sam Hartman and this Notre Dame offense? They go on the road. They're playing Clemson. They lose 31-23. It kind of feels like, you know, ND early on. You know, we hyped him up, and rightfully so. But things have just kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, Clemson played a really, really good game there. Clemson is not a top 25 team, but they're on the fringe of it. That's a good squad. They got really good play by their defense. They got really good play by the backup running back. I wish I could tell you the name of the starter because he's really talented. But Mafa, who came in relief, had a great game there. So Notre Dame got Clemson's best, and it was too much. Notre Dame is a really good team. They're probably a top 25 team. Are they a top 16 team, though? They are not. Put it this way. They're not in my top 16, okay? They have lost to one really good team, Ohio State, one very good team in Louisville, and one good team in Clemson, and at Clemson also. Don't discount that. But I think the issue here is that Notre Dame is not good enough to absorb everybody's best shot. You know, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, they're the ones, we got to take everybody's best shot every week. We've got to be, you know, everybody's giving us their best shot. And they're not wrong. Notre Dame is also in that category. They're going to get everybody's best shot. Unlike Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia, that can take just about everybody's best shot and win, Notre Dame is just not that. Hartman played better at Wake Forest than he is this year. Let's just call a spade a spade. He is better. He is a better quarterback than he has looked this season. And Notre Dame is just not good enough to take everybody's best shot.
You know what Sam Hartman needs in his life? My sister. That's what he needs. That'll get him screwed on straight right there. Oh, my sister loves Sam Hartman. You would have thought that guy walked out of like a GQ magazine. She's like, "Oh my God, did you see Notre Dame's quarterback?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw him throw 2 picks. That's all I care about, results." Oh, by the way, the Liberty Flames, Liberty. They are still undefeated. So that's all of our undefeated teams. John, let's get to the meat and the potatoes of college football. The Michigan Wolverines. They go out there and smack Purdue 41-13. A very cold handshake after the game by a coach that knew he was overmatched and ran his mouth anyways. But outside of the first 3 possessions of this football game, I'm nervous, and I'm legitimately nervous about this. Okay, so the first 3 possessions, they force a punt by Purdue, score a touchdown, a 3-and-out touchdown. They get an interception, settle for a field goal at 17-0 before you blink. And then they didn't really do a whole lot. A lot of punts, couple touchdowns late. Yeah, sure, that's all fine and dandy. Purdue got one late. That's the worst garbage time touchdown maybe in the history of man with 16 seconds left on 4th and 3. They had to go for it. I get it, whatever. They're mad. I'd be big mad if I was Purdue too. But I am concerned about Michigan's running game. I truly am. I don't think, the conversation is spiraled out of control into the sign-stealing saga, and we're not talking about this team enough when it comes to being able to run the football on command like we are used to them running it.
So are you predicting that Penn State is going to beat them?
They're a bunch of frauds. Goat Franklin is no good against the top 10. We know this. They can't beat anybody of substance. I'm used to this. We're going to wax Penn State on Saturday. Because I speak French and I play on the team, obviously, and I carry a mouse in my pocket. So we are going to go win that football game. However, I'm still nervous.
You should be. I mean, Penn State's really good. They're very, very good. And, yeah, I hear about Franklin this and Franklin that. And, yeah, I think it was one of your guests about a month ago who said if Penn State doesn't beat Ohio State or Michigan this year, that James Franklin should be fired. I remember some. Do you remember someone saying that?
I believe his name is a German fellow, if I'm not mistaken, by the name of Johann.
Okay. Could be. Yeah, I still feel that way. This is one of their best teams. They should be competitive. And they were to a degree against Ohio State, but not really. And I don't think they're going to be competitive against Michigan. I'm surprised by the success of Michigan's defense this year. I mean, it's the revitalization of the famous Miami Dolphins no-name defense. And just when you say, hey, is there an Aiden Hutchinson? Is there a, run through the list of great defenders in the past? Is there a guy who reaches that level this year? I'm not sure there is. There might be, but I'm not sure. But they're really good. They're very good. And you got Blake Corum in a stable of very talented backs. I would be worried about the offensive line. I would not be worried about the running game. And by worried about the offensive line, I'm worried more about a team being able to put pressure on McNamara enough that he makes mistakes that hurts Michigan. That would worry me. The running game, I think that's going to get figured out. Is protection going to be enough to keep McNamara from getting into trouble? That would be my concern.
Very, very interesting. His name is John Wagner. You can find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. And John is always my friend, an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad we got to talk about the actual games out there in the field instead of all this other shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could help your listeners with shenanigans. I'm here in Minnesota. I can tell you everything you want to know about snow, and that's about it. So I hope none of you have to deal with snow anytime in the future, and have a great week.
NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back. You might want to put your Bucks on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight and fade the Pistons. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports city partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers could score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down just $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You're starting the season off with an instant dub, and I hear this deal is going away soon. Basketball is more fun when you are in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 only on DraftKings, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Hour number 3 is coming at you next. We're going to talk about Michigan hoops hitting the hardwood last night, and we're going to dive into the college football playoff rankings that came out yesterday as well. Don't go anywhere. Michigan Sports Network.
Save on Thanksgiving with one stop at Meijer. I see freshness. Get a Meijer Grade A frozen turkey, 59 cents per pound. Limit 1. And stuffing green beans and tasty pies. I smell savings. Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Printed at checkout. Redeemed through November 18th. It gives me great joy. Deals so good, you gotta celebrate. Get Thanksgiving in one stop and start holiday shopping at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition canned cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Book your stay this fall in a luxurious first-class room and receive $50 premium play, a $20 spa credit, and a $25 dining credit. Rates are just $289 a night, Sunday through Thursday, and $339 on Fridays and Saturdays. Reserve your room now. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the car.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenny Walker. Touchdown. Sparty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's
Out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! Has first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you. It is Hump Day. It's the 8th day of November 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. That's where we find Freddie. Good morning, Freddie. You never called me yesterday to tell me about your story off air.
Oh, I just figured when I see you or when I talk to you. No, I wasn't going to call.
Oh, I was waiting. My mom was waiting. She's like, "Did you hear from Freddie?" I said, "No." Why? She's like, "Why? He's gonna tell you that story." I'm like, "I'll ask him about it."
You know what's funny is your mother and your sister sound alike.
Well, yeah, it's my mother's daughter. Of course, they sound alike.
Yeah, you make them sound alike. That's not nice of you. First of all, your sister's got taste. She likes the Notre Dame quarterback.
She went there. She went there, so of course she does. Of course. Rally in the alley and the Rudy fight song and kegs and eggs. And I was just a little kid when I went. I mean, I was like 16 the first time I ever went to go visit her in college. And I was like, I have to get to college. I gotta get here. Doesn't matter what school I go to, but I gotta get to this. Look at this land of opportunity we're walking into.
Yes, it's funny. You know how much I love Notre Dame and the campuses. I'm kind of in talks with possibly putting a sensory room there, so we will see if that happens or not. So, but just
man, that would be awesome. Yeah. That would be awesome there.
Yeah, I would want a statue of me by the grotto. That's for sure. That's got to be part of the plan.
In the grotto, you light a candle in front of Freddie, and then a slice of pizza shoots out the rocks. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, so now that was the positive part of the phone call because you slandered me this morning, and I don't appreciate that. First of all, good morning to all my fans out there. There's some of you are haters, but most of you are fans. I love you. Before I get to the Lions, you ripped me you ripped me a new one this morning. I never even talked about Stallions. I talked about Michigan fans, and I will tell you this, real quickly on Michigan. I am so looking forward to that game on Saturday. The only thing that sucks, it's at 12 o'clock, and I won't be able to watch it. I mean, it'll be on TV in front of me, and, I had to go home the other day, and Purdue's on at 7:30. I'm like, why is Purdue on at 7:30, and the Penn State game should be the whiteout, should be at 7:30 this week? It should have been flip-flop. But
big noon kickoff. They can't give that game to NBC. They get, Fox has. I believe that Fox gets first dibs because they got the most money involved. So they get the choice of the biggest game. I assume that's how that works.
Well, I will tell you this from the bottom of my heart. I hope Michigan gets slaughtered on Saturday. I know with James Franklin, you never know. And I'll tell you why. This is nothing against some of my Michigan friends and fans. It's just I'm so tired of the excuses the last 3 weeks. I'm honestly, and I come to realize it's most of these people, their fans, they're not even parents. Okay, if you're a parent, you have a different mentality in life. I mean, the excuses that I heard and things that are allowed to happen because, well, everybody does it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, is this what we're teaching our kids nowadays? I mean, these are fans, they're not parents. They just don't get life. But it's okay. It's okay. I just hope they get slaughtered, and then we can end this talk, end this crap, because I'm so tired of it. We got a 6-2 football team, and all we're talking about is Michigan, and everybody does it, and they're out to get Michigan because they're a great university. You got 2 national championships in 100 years. Actually, you got 1.5. Give me a break. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, this is ridiculous. So I hope the whiteout I hope the clock runs out 10 minutes ahead of time. That's what I'm hoping. So now, the great chef when he used to host the show, he used to say all the time, he loved callers that made him think. I sent you a nice text message today, and I said it's only a question. And I only thought about it after Minnesota won the last 4 games. I said it's only a question. I'm not saying Kevin O'Connell, Dan Campbell. I believe they came in the same year. I could be wrong on that, but who is the best coach in the NFC North right now? Is it Dan Campbell? Well, forget about LaFleur. He stinks. I mean, I don't know what you're doing over there, but you stink. But Kevin O'Connell, Dan, I think it's a fair question. Okay, it doesn't mean nothing wrong with the Lions. They're not going to win. And blah blah blah. I'm not saying any of that. But I think it's a fair question to ask: who is the better head coach in the NFC North right now? Is it Kevin O'Connell or Dan Campbell? You say Kevin O'Connell got lucky. I don't see how you get lucky.
Well, last year when you win 11 one-possession games, you need some luck there because this year's been a little bit of a different tale on that regard. Now, they do have a very quality win. They got that big win against San Francisco, but San Francisco's on a little bit of a slide right now. They beat the Bears, the Packers, the Falcons, the Panthers. You look at a game like the Chargers, last year they probably win that game 28-24. This year they lose it 28-24.
But let me ask you, Anthony, you say they won a lot of one-possession games last year, correct?
Yes, they won 11 one-possession games.
Yeah. Okay. So last year we lost 2 one-possession games that crushed us. The Thanksgiving game versus Buffalo, that terrible pass by Goff, and then in Minnesota last year, I believe Dan Campbell made a bad call. I can't remember what it was specifically. So if he makes those right calls, you call it luck, maybe we win the division last year. This is just a question because I can't take the Michigan talk anymore. And I love Dan Campbell, and I think the Lions are going to win. I think it's a fair question. Kevin O'Connell's done some wonders there with really, a mediocre quarterback.
Yeah, no, and you look at last year, you mentioned the Buffalo game, we lose 28-25. You look at Miami, we lost at home 31-27. You look at Seattle at home.
Nothing in that game.
Yeah, Seattle at home, we lose 48-45. Minnesota on the road, 28-24. In Philadelphia at home, 38-35. Like for our defense, we just couldn't get a stop. But you look, I mean, there's 5 one-possession games that we lost last year. That if that flips, right? If you get a 4th down conversion or what have you, whatever the circumstance is surrounding the individual plays that may have determined that game. Look later, it is what it is. But that record's a whole hell of a lot different if those are one-possession wins versus one-possession losses. O'Connell's done a great job. I don't want to take anything away from him, but at the same time, do I think he's the best coach in the division? A lot of times coaches get way too much credit when things are going well, and a lot of times they get way too much blame when things are going poorly. We'll step aside. That was Freddie. We'll be back. Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle. 1, 2, 3, top flight.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. The University of Michigan improved to 9-0 last weekend under the lights as they knocked off the Purdue Boilermakers 41-13. Now the Wolverines got off to a hot start, leading 17-0 after the first quarter, scoring on their first 3 possessions. And although the outcome of that game isn't the topic of conversation regarding the Maize and Blue, it continues to revolve around the ever-changing sign-stealing scandal that has taken the college football world by storm. What happens next with that, or with the Big Ten, or with the NCAA, no one really knows. What we do know, however, is it's taking away from the game out on the field and taking away from the players and the success that they are having as well. We also know the Wolverines will be on the road this Saturday in Happy Valley against the 8-1 Penn State Nittany Lions at noon on Fox.
Earn bonus points with M-Perks at Meijer for just one more way to save this holiday season. Shop groceries, apparel, gifts, and more, and earn points on it all. And right now, earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend on select Meijer brand food. Earn points every time you shop and redeem them anytime you want. Make Meijer your one-stop shop for everything you need this holiday season. And with M-Perks, you'll save even more. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Hey, folks, we got big news. Ice Mountain, a Michigan-based company producing the finest spring water in the Great Lakes. They partner with us here at the Michigan Sports Network for our tailgate for the game. Michigan, Ohio State, Saturday, November 25th at Michigan Stadium. And the party starts at 8 a.m. at the Stadium Club, 327 East Hoover. Stadium Club 327. That's the name. It's on Google Maps and iPhone Maps and all the maps. It's only a block away from the big house. You can join us here at the Michigan Sports Network and special guest, the Lions legend Lomas Brown. Uncle Lomas is going to be there as we get to kick off the biggest game in college football, the best rivalry in all of sports. Ice Mountain is the official water for me. That's right. Trust me, I wouldn't suggest something that I am not drinking. And look at this right here. Ice Mountain right in my hand. I suggest you start looking for Ice Mountain in the coolers or visit icemountainwater.com. Take a look at all their purchasing options, including a 5-gallon family jug for your home or office today. Great to be with you. Trashman Niles says, tell Freddie I love him. I can't wait to visit his pizzeria in Melvindale. Thank you very much, Trashman Niles. I will. I just shared that. Scott in GR is on the horn. Scott, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Hey, what happened to USDA, Scott, man? That's all I've been doing for the last week is booking my holiday tenderloins and standing ribs.
Did you tell Ben that this is USDA, Scott?
I told him Scott.
Well, there you have it. I mean, I can only work with the information I've been given. You got to tell him, USDA Scott. So we know. So
you know my voice.
I know your voice, but Ben talks to you first. So I just say Scott's on the line. I don't know what Scott is going to pop up. It's like Pandora's box here. Pandora's Scott.
There's a few Scots they call. Hey, first of all, I wanted to talk about and follow up on Freddie. I'm with Freddie. I don't hate Michigan. It's and not you, because you said all the way through.
Of course his phone would cut out right there. Of course your phone would cut out right in that moment.
You don't hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well, you know I travel. Anyhow, the thing I agree with Freddie on, especially on Michigan, is it's not you. It's not all the Michigan fans, but some Michigan fans are so incredibly. It irritates people about it. It makes people dislike Michigan more than the team. I want the kids to win. I'm from Michigan. Why wouldn't I want the kids to win? I want the kids to win. I root for Michigan. I like their coaches. I think Juwan is a great guy. I think Harbaugh is a great coach. I do agree with something that you have said and that some of Michigan fans have said. The media, they don't like strong personalities. That's just the way it is. They don't. They want people that want people to like them. Harbaugh doesn't care if you like him or not. Nick Saban doesn't care if you like him or not. Belichick doesn't care if you like him or not. They don't like those people. The media doesn't like those people, and I'm kind of lumping the media all together. But as Harbaugh rises, they want to. They're like. I still say the biggest problem is you got a mouse in the house that's squeaking all the time, and I wish somebody would find out who the freak that is, because that's the person causing all the problems. But I really think that I think Michigan's going to win Saturday. I think it's going to be a heck of a game in 2-3 weeks. But almost every national media publication has Michigan and Ohio State in the Final Four, if they're both 11-0 when they play that game. So I and then I want to talk a little bit about Lions. Get this, Anthony, the way things are going and the way things are sliding. If we win this weekend, I say if I think we're going to, but if we win this weekend, we go 14-3, and we probably tie Philly for best record. And I think I don't know what it'll come down to, because I think we'll both have one loss to the AFC and two to the NFC. So that's going to be that's a coin flip on who gets that top seed. But anyhow, if we get the second seed, let's just say we get the second seed, because I think we could be 14-3 or 12-5 and still get the number 2 seed. Think about this: we'll play most likely. I think for sure that Minnesota is going to at least go 4-4 in their next 8 games, and 9-8. I don't. Do you see Atlanta I see Atlanta or New Orleans winning that division, but I don't see either of them going better than 9-8. So it's Minnesota that's going to come to our place. We're going to play Minnesota 3 times in 4 weeks. Then Seattle most likely will beat whoever wins the NFC South. So then we'll play Seattle again. And I really think it's a good chance that I don't know. I hate saying this because I hate Dallas, but I think Dallas might be the next best team in the NFC, and we may end up playing Dallas. We may end up playing 7 games of our 20 against the 3 same teams. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened. I got a good little case study here on Philadelphia in the race to the top of the NFC that I'll get to tomorrow. But a very kind of an interesting nugget that I found along the way that people might not be aware of. So I was kind of stashing that because today, with the amount of having Big Worm and John Wagner, and then Michigan hoops, and there's just so much college on the docket in the college football playoff rankings. I was like, I'm gonna throw this in the bag for Thursday. So I will definitely have something for you on Philadelphia tomorrow at about this time that I think Lions fans.
I'll be listening. And then my last comment was on we got Red Wings Pistons. Monty's still finding out who these kids are. We got a very, 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 very high compliment from somebody who he could be a jerk, but somebody I respect, and I think his basketball acumen and knowledge is way up there. Draymond gave the Pistons a big compliment, and so I still think they're going to win 35 to 40 games. I don't know if they'll challenge for the playoff spot. They're going through a rough stretch, playing some of the best teams right now. So I'm going to stay positive on them. The Red Wings, I think the Red Wings are somewhere between that 4 and 6 category. What do you think?
Wings have had a couple of games this year. Now they've shown a lot more fight and the willingness to battle back. They can't dig themselves that early hole. They've done a good job of kind of wading the water right now in the early parts of the season, because I'm a firm believer that you're never going to win your season in the first month or so, but you can definitely lose your season in the first month or so, no matter what league you're playing in and how many games you play, because if you dig yourself that hole, I think that's what the Pistons are actively doing right now. They have not just their shovels, but their front-end loaders, and they are trying to dig themselves a trench that they'll never be able to get out of. So I'm really concerned about the Pistons right now getting over 30 wins. I think the Red Wings are, definitely. I think that they can definitely get in via their division top 3. I could see that for sure. I like that kind of middle of the pack of the Eastern Conference. And then once you get in, you get in and anything can happen. That's USDA Scott firing up the tenderloins. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my friends at Urban U. They're Michigan's best med spa. Now, they have multiple locations in the Grand Rapids metro area, and you'll find an Urban U location in Northville on the east side of the state. And this is a message for any guy listening right now. How often do you think about your skin health care? Well, Urban U has multiple options that could help you immediately. Whether you work out a lot, you run, your job requires a lot of sweating, you need to think about your skin health care, and Urban U can help you, hydrofacials, and so much more, or even your kids. Think about that. If your son, your daughter's playing a lot of sports and they're having trouble with their skin health care, Urban U has options that can help today. Just go to theurbanu.com to find out more. Locations in the Grand Rapids metro area and on the east side of the state in Northville, go to theurbanu.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's a Black Friday free fall every week in November. Each week, nab the best deal around with drawings from 3 to 11 p.m. Every hour, 4 lucky players will win up to $1,000 premium play. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. It's Black Friday free fall. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back. The Pistons get the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Ugh. Fade the Stones, baby. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports city partner of the NBA, is celebrating with unbeatable offers. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly. All you got to do is bet $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, doesn't matter. But bet the $5 and put on Milwaukee money line. Then get your $200 and then go have some fun. Basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Great to have you back with us here on X's and Bros. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. We're going to split this segment in half. First, I want to start with the Michigan Wolverines. This is a team, and not football. I'm saying basketball. And as I said after the exhibition there against Northwood, a couple of things that I'd said. One, this is exactly the team that the University of Michigan needs right now. Exactly the team they need. I haven't heard a whole lot about them. Kind of flying under the radar. A do more, say less sort of squad here with a lot of new faces, a lot of experienced new faces. And it will work for this year because just like any other cut, you got a cut on your arm, you got to bandage it up, right? That's the first thing you got to do is try to stop the bleeding, and then you go get sewed up later. Sewn up is what I was trying to say. It's early, and the Michigan Wolverines have brought in 3 transfer students, graduate transfers, in Olivier Kemois, Damari Burnett, and Trey Jackson. And Trey Jackson had a quiet night. 3 points, 4 rebounds, and assists. Did all that in 20 minutes. Was just 1 of 3. Had a block as well. 1 of 3 from the floor. Trey Jackson can shoot it. He just, the opportunity wasn't really there, and it wasn't really a big deal. Olivier Kemois absolutely dominated. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 of 16 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3. Only had 1 turnover. He was dunking on everybody. The alley-oop lob that Doug big buckets through to him from about midcourt was simply sensational. McBuckets himself, 31 minutes, 9 of 15 from the floor, 4 of 9 from 3, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal. A lot of people were worried when Jalen Llewellyn went down, and I see Doug McDaniel as, the next version of Xavier Simpson with a better shot. Like, that's the kind of command that he has. I mean, he had to work last night, too. I was impressed with UNC Asheville. I know the score is 99-74, but Asheville came out, and the Bulldogs, first off, the officials, stop calling fouls, dude. Let them play. We can't do this after one game, have 20 fouls called in the first half. That's just ridiculous. But secondly, UNC Asheville is a team that started 3 fifth-year seniors and 2 regular seniors. So you got 2 regular seniors and 3 super seniors, a team that just won their conference, that was just in the NCAA tournament, and has the reigning conference player of the year on their team, and a transfer from Tennessee that Olivier Kemois knew, because that's where he came from, and Drew Pember, who tried to throw a hammer down last night that, oh my God, Drew Pember looks like, looks like a Viking, maybe is the best way, a thin version of a Viking. He's got the long hair with like the fade on the sides with like the long ponytail. And this guy came out and he charged the basket in the second half because it was just such a YOLO sort of play. Like, I don't care. We're down a bunch. I'm going for it. And he went up with a one-hand tomahawk and went off the back of the rim because there was some contact there that if he'd have put that down, and the minute he started driving, I hit my boss. I said, here we go. Hammer time. And he elevated, and I was like, wow. Look at that guy fly. Boy, to be able to jump like that for one day. Holy mackerel. Terrence Williams II. People are like, wow, Terrence Williams. Terrence Williams has always had this in him. Terrence was 5 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3, 15 points, 6 rebounds and assists, did all that in 24 minutes. Terrence Williams II, last year, and as a freshman, was a great surprise. And then as a sophomore, it's kind of like, okay, that's a typical sophomore. And then last year took a step back. And he took a step back because our offense was so disjointed and dysfunctional. That's what I saw. I saw an offense that look, I'm not going to sit here and slander Hunter Dickinson. That's not what I'm going to do. But when you are trying to run everything in your offense through a 7-1 guy with limited action or a wing player that can't go left, like, those are your options. Like, the offense was so disjointed all the time. It was painful to watch. They couldn't get out in transition. They didn't communicate on defense. It was just, that was a year that you just want to bang your head against the wall. I felt bad for a guy like Kobe Buffkin because, Kobe's a great player. Kobe Buffkin is a great player. And, you wanted to see that young man have success. He's a local product as well. So, you see that. But this is this team this year, I'm calling it right now. I called it earlier in the 6 o'clock hour. I'm going to call it right now at 8:41 today on this Wednesday after one game. This Michigan team here is better than last year's team. Without the sliver of a doubt, folks, in my mind, this team is better than last year's team. I've seen one exhibition and one regular season game, and I'm telling you, UNC Asheville's no scrub. Like, they might be one of the top mid-major teams in the country. And that's a team where you bring in a good mid-major, your first game of the season, and you get something out of it. And they got a guy on their squad whose name is Doc Battle. It's Javon, and then they call him Doc, and he's getting ready to check in, and I announce him coming into the game, and I say, man, that's a great name. And their coach, Mike Morrell, looks back at me and goes, it is a great name, isn't it? I said, that's first team all name, Doc Battle. I love that. And he got a little smile out of it. And I felt bad for him, for Mike Morrell, UNC Asheville's coach, because you guys traveled all that way, and the foul calls were just, it didn't, like, the game flow wasn't crazy bad, but you could tell, like, some of that stuff, like, dude, there's got to be contact. It's a contact sport. It's not a collision sport, but it's a contact sport. So you got to, some of the calls were like, all right, okay, all right. Come on. But I really liked UNC Asheville. I thought that, Drew Pember played with 3 fouls for a majority of the game and finished with 19 points. They had some guys that could really, really fill it up. And I say that about feeling bad for UNC Asheville, but just for the record, and I pointed this out last night to the staff. The people behind us from Asheville, they were mad. They got call foul, call both ways, ref. Like, guys, you shot 28 free throws. We shot 15 as a team. You guys shot 28 free throws. We shot 15. Like, what did you want? Now, we're not going to shoot it that well every single night. You're not going to shoot 46% from 3 on the season. You're not going to shoot 57% from the field. That's not going to happen. But I thought it was a really, really good opening game. And for Terrence Williams II, I was very, very pleased for that young man because he took a lot of heat last year. And it's like, where do you fit in? What are we doing here? Like, what am I supposed to do? If I take a shot and I miss it, to hell with me, right? But at the same time, we got volume shooters not making shots, not really defending. Like, So I'm very pleased. And that's why I thought that this reminded me a lot of a John Beilein squad where no one's really talking about Michigan. They're deeper than you expect. They're more experienced than you expect. This is all without Jalen Llewellyn. So Doug McDaniels played a majority of the game. He played, I think 18 of the first 20 minutes in the first half. They pulled him out late there, let Amari Burnett run a little bit of point. They got to wait for Jalen Llewellyn to get back. But the growth of Doug McDaniel, that's your starting quarterback right there on the basketball court. That's the guy. He is going to be the straw that stirs the drink. And I couldn't be happier for him. Doesn't say a whole lot. He's funny. He runs on the floor, his tongue hanging out. I love the kid. Terrace Reed Jr., 1 of 2 on free throws for Terrace Reed. Terrace Reed, 4 for 4 from the floor, just bigger and stronger than everybody else. Terrace Reed, a.k.a. Big Hoss, is going to be dynamite. If we could just find a way to keep him out of foul trouble. I also thought when we had Kemwa and Trey Jackson on the court at the same time, there are a couple moments that I noticed that we had, from a matchup perspective, where they were trying to, those two guys regarding two individual players that involved those two guys, Trey Jackson and Olivier Kemwa, in a screen, and they had a little bit of trouble, communicating on were they going to switch that, were they going to stay, what were they going to do, freed up some space that UNC Asheville can shoot it. So I'm not going to say that another team, no, they can shoot it. They absolutely can. But Michigan, they got punches and bunches. They play great team basketball. You had 20 assists on 38 made shots. They did the same thing the other night. They had 19 assists on 32 shots. They share the ball. They work it around. You don't see a lot of ISO. I love it. I can't be happier with, I know it's only one game. I know it's one game. Everybody settle down. But it also, in that one game, that is the first game of our Big Ten Shooty Hoops After Dark extravaganza that we are going to be running through this year. And let me tell you, folks, I am not pleased about it. But we did get one done as an 8:30 tip-off. That is just preposterous to me. So we had 8:30 last night. December 5th, we'll play at 9. January 4th, we'll play at 9. January 18th, we'll play at 8:30. February 17th, we'll play at 8 o'clock. So 5 games after 8 p.m., 8 p.m. or later. I don't like that at all, but that's because that is a late game that leads to an early morning, which is a disaster for somebody like me. That's all selfish and self-centered. Also, I get that they, by putting, like we saw it in Michigan State's game, right? So you get a rabid fan base that has a highly ranked team that's going to be the late game. And what are they going to do? They're going to get home. They're probably going to eat dinner. And then they're going to throw on BTN because their team's coming up next. So you're going to get that viewership total for the first game. I understand that. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it or like it, but I understand why they do. Null said last season we had at least 5 9 p.m. or later tip-off games. Any games that tip off 8:30 local time or later should be banned. You are absolutely right, Null. Jason says result of a disappointing season last year. No, not at all. No, because they're gonna keep going. Chris said, "Who is this Terrence Williams guy?" So I responded, Terrence Williams, the 4th-year player who I think found himself a little. I think we'll see a much improved TW this season. The way this team is set up. He said, "I'm well aware of who T. Will is. Just that I was, along with a lot of people, highly critical of him last year. But he looked damn good last night on both ends. Hopefully, that new shot of his works for him. I think it will, and I think the way that this team plays is going to be more suitable for all parties involved. So, Michigan Hoops, they'll be back in action coming up on Friday, 6:30 tip-off over on BTN. So we get the good one. We get a 6:30 on the 10th, and then a 6:30 on the 13th. So I'm good with that before we get Long Beach State coming up on the 17th at 7 o'clock. So I'm happy with that. I'm really excited to get to see Michigan back in action on a short turnaround. Now let's get into the second half of this, which I want to preface that by saying, look, folks, the game is right around the corner. Michigan's going on the road for 2 straight. It's not a big deal because they're going to return home for the game. And our friends, Ice Mountain, a Michigan-based company producing the finest spring water in the Great Lakes State. They partnered with us here at the Michigan Sports Network for our tailgate for the game. Michigan, Ohio State, Saturday, November 25th at Michigan Stadium. The party is starting at 8 a.m. over at Stadium Club 327. 327 East Hoover is the address. Put it in your maps, your Google Maps, your iPhone maps, MapQuest. Pull out a regular map, whatever you got to do. There's probably a map in your glove box if you're old like me. Just a block away from the big house. Join us and special guest, Lions legend, Uncle Lomas is going to be there. That's right, Lomas Brown's going to be there. And we're going to get set to kick off the biggest game in college football, the best rivalry in all of sports. Ice Mountain is the official water of me. I stop every time I hit the road, and I'm going to, whether I'm going to the Lions, whether I'm going to the University of Michigan, I stop at the gas station, and I look for Ice Mountain in the cooler, and you should too. You can also visit icemountainwater.com. Take a look at all their purchasing options, including the 5-gallon jug for your home and office. I mean, who doesn't love the family 5-gallon, right? I love it. Unless it's made of glass, and then my dad drops it and cuts his hand. That was bad. But Ice Mountain, place to go. Drink Ice Mountain. I'm telling you, you're going to like it. It's delicious. It's crisp. It's clean. It's cold. It's refreshing. That's what I told him, too. I said, that's a brand I can get behind right there. Because I drink Ice Mountain. So, there you have it. Look for it. Now, college football playoff rankings came out. Ohio State stays at 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3, Florida State 4, Washington 5, Oregon 6, Texas 7, Alabama 8. Interessante. How did we come up with that? And there's, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, all 8-1. Everybody stayed the same. Ole Miss jumped up a spot. They went to number 9. They're 8-1. Penn State's 8-1. Louisville is 8-1. And that rounds out your top 11. Here's my question, Mr. Committee, because they're basing Ohio State at number 1 based off of resume, right? They have the win against Penn State. They have the win against Notre Dame. They have the best overall resume. I've already been through that. So they're number 1. I'm fine with that. They have the defending 2-time national champion at Georgia at number 2. Okay, I would say they'd be number 1 because if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? So, all right, Georgia 2. Michigan at 3, sure. Florida State at 4. Okay, all right, that's fine. Washington at 5. Nobody can defend. I argue with this about John Wagner every week. Nobody in the Pac-12 plays defense. It's like their offense is unstoppable. What do you mean? Nobody plays defense. They can't defend anybody. They're the new Big 12. Now, Texas at 7, and Oregon at 6, and Alabama at 8. Sorry, I went out of order there. Let's take a look real quick. Oregon is 8-1. They lost to Washington at Washington. Okay. All right. They beat Utah. Utah was top 15 at the time. Beat them on the road 35-6. Why? Because Utah's defense isn't that good. They beat Colorado, who was ranked at the time, who we know isn't any good. Okay. All right. Then you go to Texas. Texas has a loss in a rivalry game to Oklahoma. That game was at home. They lost 34-30. However, they have a top 25 win this past weekend against Kansas State. Top 25 win against Kansas. Oh, and a top 25, top 10, top 5 win against Alabama. And Alabama only lost to Texas. They've got top 25 wins against Ole Miss, Tennessee, and most recently against LSU. How do you have Oregon above Texas and Alabama? Texas being in front of Alabama is fine because Texas beat them straight up. But how in the hell is Oregon in front of them? That's where none of this makes any sense to me. What's the process here? What's the process? Because Alabama losing to Texas is better than Oregon losing to Washington if you just did it simply on rankings. What are we doing? Who's in charge here? That's why for the 18th, I got to do it once a week. That's why the NCAA and these committees is just a bunch of hullabaloo, and we need a set criteria to make the playoffs. By the way, if you haven't seen it, Ross Dellinger tweeted it out. Take a look at it. I retweeted it. It is what would be the 12-team playoff format based upon the rankings that came out. Dynamite. We should have been doing this. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Save on Thanksgiving with one stop at Meijer.
I see freshness.
Get a Meijer Grade A frozen turkey, 59 cents per pound. Limit one. And stuffing, green beans, and tasty pies.
I smell savings.
Plus, get a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more this week in store. Printed at checkout. Redeemed through November 18th.
It gives me great joy.
Deals so good, you gotta celebrate. Get Thanksgiving in one stop and start holiday shopping at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the Blaze Through Fall Jeep Giveaway every Saturday in November. 2 hourly winners, 5 to 10 p.m., take home a cool $500 cash. At 11 p.m. each night, one lucky guest wins a hot new Jeep Renegade or $15,000. The Blaze Through Fall Jeep Giveaway. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.